Hello, Maeya TV. My name is Eligia. I'm your host as usual. Today I'm accompanied by veteran, actress, writer, professional songwriter, and producer, Mia Rivera. How are you?
I'm very happy to be here. Thank you so much, Eligia, for having me here with your worldwide Maeya TV audience. I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, we're really happy to have you and talk about your background and how it fed into the entertainment industry and your upcoming projects. So, for starters, let's talk about where you grew up and what did you do in the early stages that made you want to join the entertainment industry?
Well, it wasn't really my initial plan. I started writing poetry as a young child in elementary school, and I continued getting published through college. And one of my poems one day had a melody that I didn't anticipate and couldn't forget. And so I thought, this poem wants to be a song. So long story short, I stumbled through and made that poem a song, and that led me to my first profession as a professional songwriter.
And you did that for a long time, right?
I did that for a long time. I worked in the music business for a very long time. And what's funny about the whole thing is it taught me about creating worlds, creating characters, walking in the footsteps of these characters in these worlds, and looking around and becoming very aware of what their positioning was, and what their lives were like, and what their feelings were. So it wasn't such a big transition to go from being a songwriter to being a script and screenplay writer and actor. I kind of vicariously had already done that. So
I do want to talk about that. So where did the transition for you becoming an actor come from?
That's a great question. And the thing is, it was, again, sort of unexpected. I'm an Army veteran, and they were having a great program through USC called Warrior Bards. And we studied the ancient Greeks. And in the class, our homework assignment was to do something creative. Some of my classmates were writing what's the word I'm looking for?
Monologues?
Monologues.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And others were writing plays, and I wrote a film. And I had never made a film before. I wrote it in about 15 minutes. And because I'm a procrastinator and I waited till the last minute, so I wrote a 10-page screenplay in 15 minutes and filmed it in one day. And it was a comedy, and it made a lot of people laugh. And then they suggested, why don't you put it into film festivals? And I was like, how do you do that? And so again, stumbling through, baby steps, baby steps, baby steps, got it into film festivals, and it won accolades worldwide, over 100. Yeah. And I can't remember how many countries. I think last count was like 20 countries around the world. So maybe even some of your audience has seen some of my films. I don't know.
I do want to talk about, we'll get to that project because I really want to talk about that, but you did study at UC Berkeley as well, right? What did you study?
So my major was rhetoric, which is sort of unusual for a major, but for me it worked out really well because it focused on analysis and debating and argumentation. And quite honestly, most people don't think I need a degree in arguing. It's sort of a natural talent that I seem to have been born with. But it really helped me to focus the lens, metaphorically, on all the different areas of my life. And so it's been a huge help.
Did you find that feeding into your project?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Because, when writing, whether it's a song or a poem or a screenplay or film, whatever, you really want to be able to look at the characters and the worlds and walk in their shoes so that you can really give feeling to what their situations are.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I do have here, let me talk about the project that you were talking about, that project that came from school, right? Basically,
originally, yes.
Right? Okay, I'm going to read it here. So the sitcom logline for the half-hour comedy series is called Lizzie's Plan, right?
Yep.
Okay, so a sassy, aging Army veteran matriarch comically fights time and generational misunderstandings to keep her quirky family and friends together as they pursue the long overdue time of their lives. And as well as the tagline is, First, she served her country. Then, she served her family. Now it's time she serves herself. So, can you tell us, I kind of see some parallels with your life a little here.
Absolutely.
Can you tell us about how this really became a professional work now, besides just, an assignment?
Sure.
Yeah.
So as I said, I stumbled through the original Lizzie's Plan, which was a 10-minute short for school. And it did so well in the film festival circuit that I thought, wow, if I did that without even really knowing what I'm doing, I wonder what we could do if I really started to learn how to make films, how to write screenplays, with the different acts and developing the characters and the arcs and the storylines. And so I took a lot more classes. During COVID, it was really kind of helpful because all of a sudden we could take classes via Zoom from all over. We weren't limited to what's in our own backyard. Everyone was doing classes on Zoom, and therefore I started taking great classes through some wonderful veteran organizations because I'm an Army veteran myself, and some of those organizations are VME, which stands for Veterans in Media and Entertainment. As I mentioned, the USC Warrior Bards program, another program through UCLA, Robert Morgan Fisher, we call him lovingly Gunny, has the Word Commandos, and I'm a proud member of the American Legion, Post 43 in Hollywood, yay! And the Writers Guild has a special foundation and veterans writing program, which pairs us with very, very experienced and successful writers and showrunners that guide us over a year to write our own pilots. And mine being a half-hour comedy series, I got to work with some fantastically talented people, and I'm very, very proud of what came of that. And I'm very grateful to all of these amazing people and organizations that have done so much to help me learn, because I've just been so hungry for knowledge to pursue this career and kind of in the second chapter of my life. And so I'm incredibly grateful and always will be.
So apart from these incredible organizations, I know a lot of your talent and the people that you bring on for this project are also veterans, right?
Yes. Because of these great organizations that I mentioned, I've gotten to know some really fantastic veteran actors, writers, producers, directors, cinematographers, production assistants. And they all have such a great work ethic. We come from the same place to begin with. We've all gone through boot camp. We know, sometimes people are not going to say please and thank you because they're solely focused on the mission. And I can relate with that. We all have that in common. And the other thing is some of the veterans, or most of the veterans, I should say, started off in their younger years being in the military, fighting for our country. And so they didn't maybe go to film school or college as soon as they got out of high school. Mm-hmm. So some might think they're a little behind. Mm-hmm. I think that they did some living, mm-hmm. and therefore it will add to their, filmmaking and writing and everything. But the fact of the matter is they still maybe got into their careers a little bit later than those who went straight from high school. And so I feel a kinship with them. And so these great organizations have done so much for me. If I can, put a hand back and help bring somebody else forward, I want to do that. The military has a mantra, leave no man or woman or child or animal behind. Some of that might have been my own. But seriously, a lot of people have helped me a lot, and I feel like I want to help whoever I can.
Mm-hmm. I do realize this project it's very personal. You wear a lot of hats, right?
Yes.
So how much of Mia is in Lizzie?
Well, honey, let me tell you, there's quite a bit in there. Maybe I wasn't able to say it in real life, but I can say it on film as Lizzie.
Because actually, I don't know if we mentioned, you do play Lizzie, and
yes.
And you also produce, and you're writing it. So
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So do you feel like, obviously, is that her voice?
Yes.
That's her voice?
That's Lizzie.
That's Lizzie. So did you come about this because you felt like you needed this outlet to come out yourself, or did Lizzie come on its own and you just started putting in characteristics?
That's a great question, because I think it's kind of a combination of both. I've always been sort of a silly clown to my friends. And so my friends, you know, who've been my friends long before I got into this career, were like, oh my God, Lizzie is you. I was like, yeah, definitely. I'm a little nutty sometimes, you know, in joking, you know, always joking. And so I will say that Lizzie and her friends do reflect a lot from me and my own friends. And maybe these are the things that we would joke with each other. You know, maybe we wouldn't always say them out loud in public, or, although maybe there were some times we did. But Lizzie can say it and get away with it, you know? So, yeah.
And you were telling me it's sort of a combination of sort of things you've seen on TV, but in a very male-dominated way, right? So now it's a twist on that, right?
Right, yeah. I would definitely say that my half-hour comedy series, if I had to use some comps, I would say it is a combination of 2.5 Men, except you flip the script and you have it played by Golden Girls. That's Lizzie's plan.
Yeah. And with this project, there's been various stages of it, right? So
yes.
Did you have like a proof of concept? I think you mentioned something about a podcast, right, episode?
No, well, my first episode after the short, it's called Lizzie's Plan, but the episode is called 3 Ps in a Podcast. And that actually came from yet another amazing organization called Freedom Sisters, which is a female veteran organization. And the founder, her name is Carrie Jeter. She's amazing. Also an Army veteran. She contacted me and she was like, Mia, I would like to have you on a podcast. And I was like, okay, we'll do it. But then somehow that evolved into a film. And we really have her in it. Yeah. And instead of her coming to interview me, she comes to interview Lizzie and Lizzie's 2 best friends. Even though what happens is, Carrie has a guest that drops out at the last minute. She's beyond desperate and gets the phone number of Lizzie, who just so happens to be at a memorial when this phone call happens. And but being the fame-chasing woman she is, she tries to find a way to get the girls out so they can rush over to this beyond, worldwide podcast. So, needless to say, a lot of comedy ensues and problems happen, but it all ends well.
Do you see this show going on for like a span of like 10 years, as many shows go on? Do you think you have enough material for it?
I do.
Yeah.
I do think I do. And the reason is because it's not just about Lizzie and her 2 girlfriends and their husbands. They live in a community called Serenity Now Retirement Community. And they have all kinds of friends and frenemies. And they're all kind of a little bit, they're against power. So anytime somebody tries to exert any power on them, they must fight it. But in addition to that, they have kids and grandkids. And so Lizzie's Plan is not only about Lizzie and her 2 besties, but the different generations and how they clash and how they hopefully come together through learning from each other. Because it's not just about the younger generation learning from the older generation, it's the older generation also learning from the younger generation. So I hope that it will be interesting for all the generations to better understand each other and learn from each other.
Mm-hmm. This project, so it's already won a bunch of awards, right?
Yes.
At film festivals. Did you mention something about a Paris one as well, right?
Yes. Well, I've done some great interviews, and again, we're on Maeya TV, so I'm very excited to be here. But yes, I did a recent interview with Paris Film Awards, and before that, I've been on some other podcasts, and also in Heart of Hollywood magazine. And it's been really great. Yeah. It's just been amazing.
Yeah, I do. Okay, so you're also an actress yourself in other projects. This is your baby, right? This is your project. But is there any one that you're particularly proud of? I think that you learned something that you brought it to your own project now?
I would say that it was so helpful for me being on set regularly, so that when it came time for me to create my own set, I got to learn from some of the best. And on a much smaller scale was my set. You know, it doesn't really compare to the HBO, film sets that I got to work on in some other projects. But I did the best I could, you know. Maybe we didn't have the best food like HBO fed us. But we did good. Everybody got paid. Even the veterans, everyone got paid. And SAG, so it was good.
Yeah. What did you say? McMillions, was that one of them?
McMillions was one of the HBO shows that I worked on.
Yeah.
And I'll say that was one of the most wonderful auditions that I've ever done. I have to tell you that the two directors, James Lee Hernandez and Brian Lazart, were absolutely amazing. So I sent in my self-tape, as we all know as actors. That's a big thing now, is the self-tape. And then they had me come in person, and they wanted me to do some improv, which I love improv, so I was fine with that. And I was nearing the end of this improv situation that they gave me, and one of the directors goes, he slammed down on the table, he goes, "Wow!" And I thought, that can't be bad. What was funny, though, is I have just a bazillion wigs. There was a time in Hollywood when they said no blondes. And I was like, well, what should I do? And so I bought wigs. So I have short wigs, dark wigs, light wigs, pink wigs, you name it. But I had the dark curly brown wig on and glasses and a southern accent. And they thought that was me. So on the last day after I was done shooting, I took off my wig, took out my hair, went up them with no glasses, and I was like, "Thank you." And they're like, "You look familiar." And I was like, "Yeah, that was me." What was really funny, I have to tell you this. This is just to show you how kind of nutty I can be. But it lends itself to my comedy, work. And that is when I first went up to the first day of shooting. It was in a neighborhood in Encino. And I could see the trucks and everything, and I was in real frumpy clothes and the dark curly wig and glasses, and I went up to one of the gentlemen that was, getting all the stuff off the truck, and I was like, "Hey there, are you all making a movie here?" And he's like, "Yes, ma'am, we are, I'm sorry." And I was, "Oh, I want to be in your movie!" And he's like, "I'm sorry, ma'am." I was like, "Actually, I am in your movie, so can you tell me where to go?" So it was just, having a little fun.
Yeah. Do you tend to keep it really light on set as well? I know when you're doing that many episodes and things like that.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm very serious. Really, as a person, there's a time to be serious and there's a time to be funny, And I've heard this about comedians all over, that, people go up to them at parties and expect them to, be telling jokes and stuff, and they just aren't, they're kind of boring, actually. But, I take my work really seriously. I mean, the films, whether it's on somebody else's dime or my own dime, time is money. I am a businesswoman at the root of it all, honestly. So I do appreciate that. And so when I show up to, set, I'm ready. And, I'm ready to go. Yeah. So, we can joke when the camera's not running, but when the camera's running and we're on the time, no.
Oh, I think it's a good balance to have, right? For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I do want to ask if you have any advice for anyone that wants to perhaps take the leap and put on their own show. I know you're working on becoming a showrunner for this.
Yes, ma'am.
Or an actor or anyone that's young and looking to do something similar.
Well, I have to correct you there, my young friend, because I'm going to say however old you are, even if you're just young at heart, if you've got a dream, you should pursue it. But you have to know that it's not going to be easy. In my personal life, I've overcome a lot of very, very difficult things. People would never know it because I seem so light and whatever, but no. And the thing is, it's really, you might take baby steps, then fall down, and then get back up. Baby steps, fall down, but get back up. Because the thing is, it's not about how many times you fall down. It's about how many times you get back up. So if you want something bad enough, you don't have to be the smartest, you don't have to be the fastest, you don't have to be the whatever. You have to want it more than anyone else so that you're willing to put in the hard work and, make your own luck. People say, "Oh, it's luck, it's who you know." Sure, there's always elements of that. But at the end of the day, you have to make your own luck. If it's about meeting the right person, knowing the right person, then you have to put yourself somewhere where you can meet them. You know, if it's about being ready, that means you've had to prepare. So I would say, first of all, take a hard look at yourself and decide, do I have enough time and energy and finances or whatever to pursue this? And if not, am I willing to go out and get it? Really, it's up to you at the end of the day, you know, because we don't know how many times all these people that seem like an overnight success story have fallen down. You know, they seem like overnight, but it maybe took them 10 or 20 years. So, you know, there isn't always such a thing as overnight success. Yeah. Or maybe there is, but it took 10 or 20 years to get there.
Yeah, that's great advice. So we got all your projects, right? That's the big one that's coming up.
Lizzie's Plan is my baby. It's but I do have a new screenplay that's been doing really well in the screenplay festivals. So between Lizzie's Plan, 3 Peas in a Podcast, and my new screenplay that may end up being a film soon. It's called Take This Faux Turkey and Shove It. They have over 325 worldwide accolades in film and screenplay festivals so far.
We'll look out for that as well. What a name, too. Yeah.
A comedy.
Yeah. You sure it's not a drama?
Oh, there's plenty of drama. Maybe a dramedy.
Yeah. Okay, well, it was so lovely to have you here. I do want to get your socials and
that'd be
where
great.
we can look up all your projects to keep up with you.
Oh, I'd love that.
Yeah.
So I would love for all of the Maeya TV audience members to please come visit me on Instagram. My Instagram address is my name, Mia Rivera 2222. So it's MIARIVERA 2222. I also have a website, www.mia-rivera.com. I would love to have you come along on this journey with me.
Perfect. That was great. That's a great username. Great website. Okay. So we're looking forward to those projects of yours. We really are thankful for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Maeya TV audience. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and we'll hope that you maybe get to showcase this soon. Maybe we'll get to see it out in the world. Really exciting. And thank you to everyone who's been watching on Maeya TV and all our platforms. Stay tuned for the next one. Okay.
Thank you.